At 2 o'clock on Fridays is when you can take 10 minutes, this doesn't take more than 10 minutes, and share with us one thing that you learned. It's kind of a time, especially like with the new year starting and all these people have different goals. And so, hey, everybody that's jumping on, hello. And we have Danielle MacMath is going to be jumping on. So Danielle has requested to be in our live video. And of course, she's our special guest today. Danielle MacMath, the actress that she is, she's performing at Theater for the New City. So Danielle, give me just a minute. We will get to you. And let's see here. We've got Sarah on, we've got Allie. This is so exciting. But let's get back to you. So this is the time where you can share one thing that you learned this week. I'm going to share with you one thing that I learned this week. And we're all going to kind of collectively learn from one another. So if you've got all these goals for 2019 and you want to make sure that you are actually hitting them, a good important part of that is to take stock. So every Friday at 2 o'clock, that's exactly what we do. So I'm Annie Schiffman. I'm the founder of Downstage Media. And Downstage Media, we give theater people who are overwhelmed with social media a plan of what to post. So most of the stuff that I talk about involves theater, social media, somewhere in those worlds. But we're going to have Danielle MacMath come on. She's going to share something else. So let's actually get Danielle up in here. All right. So now at any time, you can be leaving your comment below with something that you shared as well, whether it's about acting or theater or social media or just anything else, kind of the life of a freelancer. Okay, cool. Danielle, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So let's see. Danielle, I'm going to share one thing that I learned this week, and then I thought I would pass it off to you, and you could share something that you learned as well. Does that sound good?
Yeah, great.
Excellent. Okay, so something that I learned this week is that, and I always write up the show notes afterwards. You could go to downstage.media/blog, and we've got the notes right there for you. I'm going to be adding what Danielle adds into our show as well. But so one thing I've learned is that you've really got to get real with Facebook ads. Facebook is a pay-to-play space. So if you're a theater company, if you're, look at all these people joining. It's so fun to see on you. Eliana Schwartz says, yes, Danielle, woo, a star. So exciting. You've got quite a fan club who's on today. But basically, so I was listening to a great podcast called The Science of Social Media, and they said 1 in 4 Facebook pages uses Facebook ads in some way, shape, or form. No doubt that's because of the algorithm change that really affected the amount of posts that get in front of people from pages, so people have to pay more. So I want to say to you, if you have a Facebook page for your company, for your theater company, for your dance school, for your improv troupe, for any of that stuff, you've really got to start setting aside some money for some marketing on Facebook. It's called ad spend in the biz. Did you know that, Danielle? It's called ad spend. Isn't that fancy?
Wow.
I know, fancy terms. But okay, enough about Facebook, enough about ads. Of course, anyone who's watching, all the people that see here, we've got Nat Child. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you're on. Mary Beth says, so proud of you. I'm assuming that's for you, Danielle, not for me, but maybe it's for both of us. Mary Beth Zagari says it. All right, so all of you who are joining us, please feel free to leave a comment of one thing that you learned this week. So the last few days of 2018, the first few days of 2019. So Danielle, first tell us what you learned, and then tell us about what you're working on right now.
Sure. So they're actually kind of combined. I guess the basis of what I learned can come down to always be nice to everyone, to make a good impression, because you never know who someone is. And that's sort of like a basic lesson that most of us are taught as children. But it really came to light for me this past week as I've been working on a show at Theater for the New City. So Theater for the New City is this really cool space down in the East Village, and there's multiple theaters within the building. So as I'm performing in my show that's in the Community Space Theater, there are other theaters, like there's the Chino Theater that there could be actors, directors, writers, producers walking around the same building that I'm in, and I just have to always be nice, always be friendly, because who knows if someone I run into could give me a job or end up being a castmate one day. I would also like to share a story that my director shared with us on our opening weekend. So he's a writer-director, Matt Oken.
Okay.
The show that I'm in is called Beltsville, Rockville, Part 1, Rise of the Goatman.
Which, by the way, is the longest title. But I love how much info it packs into the title. Like, because we've been promoting it on Downstage on our various social channels. And so when every single time that it gets written down, it's like Beltsville / Rockville Part 1.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much to it. Rise of Goatman. Like, I really want to hear about this project as well. So keep going.
Sure. Okay. So it's funny because the Goatman is sort of like this urban legend that exists in Maryland. Beltsville and Rockville are two Maryland towns. And so in that area, which is the area where the writer grew up, there's this legend of the Goatman. And he shared with us a story on the opening weekend about he did a show in New York City like 20 years ago. It was a cast of 10 in this like well-known off-Broadway theater. And one night there were 4 people in the audience. And I guess the cast could see this before the show started. And when they realized that there were only 4 people in the audience, they sort of band together and took a vote and said, we're not going to perform tonight. We don't want to perform for just 4 people. Okay. Now, those 4 people turned out to be, one of them was a big-time producer. One of them was a reviewer who could have written about the show.
Wait, say that again, because you broke up just a little bit on your audio. So the 4 people who were in the audience were who? Say it again.
One was a producer, one was a critic who was hoping to write about the show, and then one of them was just someone who had come from out of town, come from a long way, and made plans to see the show, and then the cast said, no, we're not going to perform. So then they didn't get to perform because they were judging this small audience of 4 people, when really performing, even though it was just a few people there, could have potentially help them. Who knows? Right.
Exactly. I mean, if it's somebody who's writing a piece about it, then that's not necessarily going to be one person, right? That's whatever the entire readership is of that publication. So
right.
Yeah. So smart. So smart. Yeah. And I think also, especially what you were saying about Theater for the New City, what a cool space. Like you said, there's so many different theaters there, and you're around artists all the time. And that it is really exciting to think that every single person that you meet could be someone that now you get to work with on other projects, or people that you get to know, or just fellow artists that you get to support in other ways. So that's really great. Thank you so much, Danielle. Now, before we finish up, tell us how we can get tickets to see your show.
So you can go on theaterforthenewcity.net. On the homepage, there should be a picture of our logo for Goatman. Click on that. It will take you to the Goatman page. Then you can, there should be a link for tickets right there. The tickets are done through SmartTix. You can buy your tickets ahead of time to reserve, or just shut Theater for the New City.
We just lost you again. Sorry, say that one more time. You can buy your tickets ahead of time. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you can buy them ahead of time online, theaterforthenewcity.net. I think we're right there, up there on the homepage, and you just follow the link to tickets. You can also buy tickets at the door.
Perfect. Good. So you've got shows every Thursday, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from now till January 13th. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet for Beltsville / Rockville Part 1, Rise of the Goatman, go do it. See Danielle MacMath. Leave us comments below. Let us know what you learned this week. We're going to have the link to the tickets on our show page, which is downstage.media/blog. You'll see it's already up there. You can already click on the link right there. And thanks so much. We will see you next week. We have director and producer Wendy Lane Bailey from Pioneer Productions in New Jersey. She's going to be our special guest. Thank you so much, Danielle, and have a great show tonight.
Thank you.